My question to you is, should you be a lease purchase truck driver? You might be surprised at my answer. Stay tuned right here on Life After Trucking. Good morning, truckers and trucking enthusiasts. Indiana Jack here. Yes, I'm in a Volvo this morning. We are moving some trailers around and sitting in this truck waiting for it to warm up. We have a black 2015 Volvo, and I'll be moving this trailer down to the lower lot to be worked on. All right, we're all hooked up with this trailer, and let's get it moved down there. All right, let's get her unhooked, and I got a story to tell you about this very trailer. It has some nice tires on it. The reason I remember some of these things vividly is that mud flap I replaced in El Paso on a trip that you guys were on with me. So that's just interesting to see the evolution of a trailer once it's not your trailer anymore. But this is what I want to show you. Follow me to the fuel tank, not of the truck, of the trailer. What I was going to tell you is this guy who was pulling this trailer recently, he brings this trailer into us with the fuel tank held up by a bungee cord. The fuel tank. Now the other side, the strap on the other side, when I had this trailer, it broke off, and I went to utility and we put a new one on. It cost me about $100 or something like that. But this one was fine. Well, eventually now this one broke off, and a guy was driving this on the freeway with just a bungee cord holding up this side. It baffles my mind. He's not driving with us anymore, but don't do something like that, drivers. Can you imagine if that would have fallen off in traffic? Don't do things like that. All right, let's unhook and get on our way out of here. Glad you're riding along with me today. I'm Indiana Jack. I appreciate you being here. Some of you don't know what a lease purchase truck driver is, and for those of you that don't, I'll explain it to you. It's an area of trucking where if you don't own a truck and you have a dream of owning a truck and you want to be a truck driver and own a business of truck driving, many trucking companies will sell you one of their trucks so you can drive it and pay it off slowly as you're trying to drive and pay off the truck, and as well as make a living at home and support yourself and your wife and your kids and all kind of things like that. One thing that the recruiters who lease you a truck, they don't explain that it's very, very difficult to lease purchase a truck. I did it with my first truck, Old Red, and if you've watched this show for the past 10 years, you know that. But it was one of the hardest things that I've ever done in my life, because all of your money, all of your time, all of your efforts go into lease purchase of a truck, so you don't have money to do all the other things like rent, car payments, and all kind of things like that. So my question to you is, and it's not even a question, it's a comment, before you even think about purchasing a truck like this with a carrier, make sure you have at minimum $5,000 to $10,000 in the bank before you lease purchase a truck. You know why? Because it's going to take you that much money to survive during the ups and downs of trucking. They don't explain that to you. I am explaining that to you now. I have always said that you have to have some cash, some capital in the bank to open up a business. You should not have your last $200 in your pocket before you go trucking with a lease purchase truck, because you will fail, because it's an up and down business. You may ask yourself and others, why do you need to have $10,000 in the bank? One reason is your first breakdown. If you, let's say, are lease purchasing a brand new truck, it doesn't matter if it's a brand new truck or a 5-year-old truck, it's gonna break down. And a truck can break down and it will cost at minimum $5,000 to $10,000 just for the breakdown. That's why you have to have money in savings. Now that's just the mechanical part of the breakdown. Then there's maybe the cost of the tow truck and the cost of the hotel and the cost of the revenue that you're losing. A lot of people that lease purchase a truck, they're usually younger, they have poor credit, they are not experienced at business, and they lease a truck and they don't have any money in the bank, and then they break down, and then they lose their business, they lose their shirts because they didn't have money to start out with. So make sure you have some working capital before you decide to lease a truck or buy a truck and get your own financing from a bank if you're going to go, open your business that way. And that's what I'll explain next.
When I'm not out in the truck on the road, I like to be at home and working on my boat, and spending time out on the water. That's what life's really about, having the balance between the two.
At the end of the day, you can find me watching Adventures in Trucking with Indiana Jack.
Stay tuned.
We have 2 trucks left, a black one and a white one. Black Volvo that I just got out of, and that white Pete. So we're doing pretty good. I have a question for you. Did your company switch over to ELDs? That's coming up in December. We switched early. We switched on November 1st, and we're getting a lot of violations from drivers. It's just almost impossible to drive a truck under 5 miles an hour. It's almost impossible. I've had to do it before, and it's not my favorite thing. So I imagine when everyone switches over in December, it's going to be massive hysteria with the DOT anyway, because there's going to be so many violations. They're actually going to like it because they can write a lot more tickets. But for us drivers, it's very difficult. And I'm not saying that some things in life aren't difficult, but driving a truck under 5 miles an hour across a truck stop parking lot is very difficult to do. And that's one of the things that we're finding it hard about being on real ELDs instead of ABORDs, which we've been on since, for the last 2 years. So anyway, I'd be interested to hear what your comments are on driving under the ELD rule that just came out this year, that's going in effect in December. Good morning. It's another day. And one of my jobs is to make sure all the trucks that are on the yard, these two anyway, start every morning. And that's what I do. I start them up in the morning, let them run, let them idle so the batteries don't go dead. And so we're starting up old Blackie. And it's going to be a good day. It's cold out though. Winter is definitely here. Good morning again. If I had this truck, I would not have the ELD there. I would drill a hole up there, run the cord through the top, and have it more on the dashboard, down on the dashboard. I like having that cup holder, not cup holder, but sandwich holder. Look, how many sandwiches did you guys, you and I have, and where the sandwich was in that very holder there? I would have to insist that ELD not be placed there. Where do you put your ELD? All right, we're in the peat now, warming it up and charging the batteries. Definitely Pete's have a better entertainment system, or whatever you want to call it. Their software is much better than Volvo. I really like playing around with this screen and all of the different things that their software does and how it communicates with you and the truck. Well done, Peterbilt. And this is a 2013, so the newer ones. In fact, I'm going to be reviewing more Peterbilts. So we'll check out the software in the newer Peterbilts for reviews that are coming up really soon, and see how that software is in the newer ones. I'll be anxious to see that. Do you have a Peterbilt? And do you like... Another option for you, other than leasing a truck from a carrier, if you want to open up your trucking business, other than having the $5,000 to $10,000 in the bank as savings, go to your own bank, your own credit union, whoever will finance you, and buy your truck that way. Once you've spec'd your truck out and find out the kind of truck that you want to buy, make sure you have all your ducks in a row, get your truck, and then lease on to a carrier. Although you should probably know what carrier you're going to lease on to before you buy your truck. It would be good to know that before you buy it. If you're stubborn and want to go against the grain, kind of like what I did, everyone told me it could not be done, and that I could not successfully purchase my truck from Knight. This was back in 2008. Because they told that to me, I wanted to prove them wrong, and I paid them off. But it was not easy. It was very, very difficult, as I've said many times today in this video. So think long and hard. Do you want to take that road of not having a home, not having car payments, not having all the comforts of home, because you're paying for your truck for that whole lease period? Then when you get that all paid off, then it's easier to go out there and truck, because you have a paid off truck. And so you have your tool for your trade at that point. But boy, it's hard to get there. These are just some suggestions that I have about leasing a truck, and is it right for you? Now, this story doesn't really have anything to do with truck drivers, but on Trucker Talk Radio, which you know I'm a fan of, it's talked about quite a bit. At least once a month I hear a story about moon pies. Moon pies, yes. Moon pies are this little pie that you can buy that's made right here in Chattanooga, and they have a store here that sells moon pies. That's because the factory for moon pies is made right here in Chattanooga. And the reason truckers talk about it is because there's a couple of billboards on 24 between Chattanooga and Nashville, and you see those billboards, and so you want to talk about them. Now, you could stop here in Chattanooga. There's a pilot not too far from here, an Uber down here to downtown Chattanooga, and check out this moon pie store. Let's check it out. Of course, there's more to see here other than just moon pies. Some of the old favorites are here, places we all like to go as tourists or just to visit a place like this. It's kind of interesting being in a downtown setting like this. Now, if you really have a sweet tooth, you can come right across the street to something that's a little bit different, to Cupcake Kitchen. A friend of mine totally recommended these cupcakes. The cupcakes are not keto friendly, so if you're on keto or if you're a type 2 diabetic, not a good place to go. Just a mile or two away is where they actually make the moon pies at a company called Chattanooga Bakeries, right here in Chattanooga. And we're here where there's even trucks waiting to be loaded with moon pies, I assume. And then they'll go to various distribution sites all around the country. I'm sure some of you drivers will have stories about that. We'd love to hear that. If you actually drive moon pies around the country, that would be interesting to us as truck drivers. So this is the interesting place where they actually make the moon pies, and then looks like they warehouse and distribute them here also. Well, this is Indiana Jack. Thanks for riding along on our mini trip of downtown Chattanooga, where you can, as a truck driver, come down here and enjoy some of these sights. If you have some time, you might as well do it. Better than sitting at a truck stop. We'll see you next time. Success when life begins, but if you ask me, it's when the road trip ends. Gimme that, gimme that, gimme that. Isn't that a song? I remember hearing that. I can't remember where it's from. I think it is a song, but that's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to DAT Solutions, or Trucker's Edge, the software. We've all heard of it. Remember in the olden days when you'd go into a truck stop and you'd see on the wall the DAT board? I remember it distinctly. There are still remnants of those out there. Well, the new DAT, or new trucker solution, or way to look for load, is all on your phone or through a computer. I've made videos about this before. The folks there are offering you and I 30 days free if you go there and check out their site. Maybe you just started your own trucking company. Maybe you have your own authority. Maybe you're a broker. Whatever you have, if you need loads or if you need to post a load, DAT Solutions or Trucker's Edge is the way to go. If you do it right here on our site, I'll put a link right in the notes to this video. Do it there. You'll get 30 days free. Everybody likes free. I'm Indiana Jack. Go over and check out our friends at DAT Software, DAT Solutions, Trucker's Edge, whatever you want to call them. A great way to find a load. Gimme that, gimme that, gimme that. So if you get anything out of this video, it's make sure you have a lot of money in savings, because it's going to take you a lot of money to finish paying off the truck. It's going to just take a lot of effort. You will have no life, no social life, nothing, because your whole life is devoted to paying off that truck. You can do it if you want to, but don't blame anyone else if you fail, because you're hearing it right here on Life After Trucking. I'm Indiana Jack. Thanks for watching. Sorry to sound a little negative, but I wanted you to know the facts ahead of time and not be disappointed when you find out you don't have any money and you have to leave and go to another carrier because you can't afford it. We'll see you next time.